Um, first, when did you first hear about the mother?
Well, about the mother, in middle of 71,
What was the occasion?
we were getting ready for war with Pakistan, you know what is now Bangladesh, and there's a clampdown taking place, and refugees started coming to India. And I was posted in Calcutta at that time in the headquarters of the Eastern Army. And we knew that something will have to happen to stop this refugee influx into already overclouded what is now West Bengal and all over around Bangladesh into eastern northeast area. And it's amazing that we were very, very concerned. I was at least because in 62 war we had humiliated so badly. And now the 71 war was coming. We knew that something will have to be done about it. And I must have been very pensive, and of course I had been told the top secret plan at that time. One of my own officers comes to me, an old devotee. I didn't know he was a devotee. Sir, you're very pensive these days. I said, Chum, you'll be more bloody pensive. You had some of the problems I can't share them with you at the moment. And he said, sir, whatever your problem, write to the mother. I said, whose mother? My mother is no more. Sri Aurobindo Ashram. I'd heard of Sri Aurobindo, but never heard of the mother. And then I said, who is she? French lady. And for me to seek her blessing, a foreigner, with top secret plans in my head, to write to a foreigner, I was very apprehensive. But he had said, sir, it'll be all right. So I wrote 2 lines.
Wrote
Revered,
by hand. You wrote by
I
hand.
wrote my own hand. Revered mother, I've been advised I could seek your blessing, but I can't tell you why I'm in the army. So across my letters,
How
I
did you send the letter?
posted it.
You posted it, normal post.
Posted normal. After about a week, 10 days, I got the reply, signed across my letter, blessings Bina. That's the first I heard about the mother. And the same officer had gone down to all the top brass without each one knowing that he's been to everybody. Same officer, one of my own officers, like Lieutenant Colonel at that time. And I discovered it accidentally. We were going just before the war by an aircraft. We go right round what is now present Bangladesh. And it used to take us 5 hours from Calcutta to Agartala. It used 55 minutes
The
otherwise.
delta, like this, it's a delta. I said it's a delta.
Yes, yes, I can see that.
And I had got into the aircraft already, VIP aircraft. The boss, commanding in chief, was to go also. So he was to follow up. We'd already got seated, General Narinder Singh and I. So he comes in, there was a slumberer seat for him, and he lay down, General Jagdeep Singh Arora. So I used the same term to me. I said, sir, you're very pensive this morning. So he sat up. Krishna, you haven't done your homework this morning. I said, I beg your pardon, 29 years service, I've never been caught. What have I done? He opened his pocket, took out a message which had been handed over to him by my own boy. Just as he was coming into the aircraft, I was already inside. Somebody had run up to give him the message. The Russians had warned us that the Chinese had started moving to the border. Intercept. So I said, sir, oh no, sorry sir, now I can't cope with the two fronts. I was very clear in my mind. I said, sir, impossible, we can't fight on the two fronts. I don't have the resources. He said, don't worry. He opened his other pocket, took out that little packet.
Blessing packet.
So I said, et tu brute, Julius Caesar. So
Right.
this is how it happened.
Very
My
nice.
first introduction to the mother.
What about you, Kamla? When did you first hear about the mother?
We read an article written by Supreme in sometime in the middle of the year,
Booklet.
booklet on written about Shri Aurobindo.
The title is Sri Aurobindo and Bangladesh.
And he's talking about Bangladesh. And Bangladesh didn't exist. So we were already very impressed, and I was in the army. I was working in the hospital. And because of the war, we knew it was coming. We knew we'd have to fight. And we were very busy. All the youngsters were getting ready. I was a major in the army at that time.
You're a doctor.
Doctor. It was Command Hospital, Calcutta. And I was told to be ready to take on casualties. Mostly in the army, that's what you have. All the youngsters were being prepared for field ambulances to go with the troops as far as they can. It's a delta, so it's very difficult to cross. But already the local Bengalis were fed up with the Pakistani Muslims who were treating them very badly. So they were ready to help. And because they said, Ashram people said, Shri Aurobindo is sitting in Dhaka, the Indian army will have no problem. In 15...
Who said that? Who said that?
Ashram people we heard. We met Prem Malik, we met a few other people who said that Shri Aurobindo is sitting in Dhaka, the army will have no problem. This is 1971, mind you. Long after he had passed away. And in 15 days, a 5-pronged attack, a delta like that, they were surrounding Dhaka.
Yeah, it was a big victory. It was a crashing.
It's an amazing victory. And his officers, some of them who knew General Niazi surrendered, they said, what happened to you? We've seen your ammunition and stock up, and you very well stocked up. What happened? Why did you go up? He says, I don't know. You tell them, what did he say?
No, this is quite
Niazi
clear.
was the commanding officer of the Pakistani
The
army.
commander-in-chief.
Is he still alive?
I believe so. He's still alive, but sidelined completely. And so we were sitting in his mess the day after the surrender. I went and met him in his mess, drinking his whiskey. He had a huge stock of whiskey. And one of us who were trained with him, he was
You knew him from before?
I had heard about him, but he was junior to me by a few months. And he had become commander-in-chief. And he asked him, I said, what happened to him? You, 95,000 regular soldiers will surrender. And look at all your depot, we've seen it just now in the morning. You got all the weaponry the Americans had given you.
Very well.
He suddenly became very serious. I remember his face. He said, I don't know. So I turned around, or one of us turned around to him, and you disobeyed your own commander-in-chief, Supreme Commander, Yahya Khan, Field Marshal Yahya Khan. And he said, well, I don't know. I thought it's hopeless. So I believe that the mother had influenced him also. Like all of us had physically received the blessing. In his case, it must have been. That's why in my book I call it The Divine Intervention in War, in my book.
Now, I would like you to tell me a few words about the massacres, because after all this war happened because there were great massacres happening in Bangladesh. Now, what were these massacres about?
You see,
It's a genocide actually. It could be called a genocide.
because the rulers in Pakistan were all Punjabis from
From
west,
Pakistan, Punjab.
west side. And Bengalis are very sentimental in certain ways, in the typical way of the Bengalis. And some revolt had kind of taken place. And he was given orders, use the army, that's what you're meant for. And it became so ruthless. It's terrible, the massacre of the civilians.
How many people died in Bangladesh?
Oh, I have no idea of these figures, but a lot of confusion about these figures.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions?
Many millions.
Millions of people were massacred.
I think in millions you can count them. And they developed what they call the Mukti Bahani, trying to help each other. And these Mukti Bahani helped the army also, because being a delta, only the infantry soldier to cross, and they must have helped in boats and whatnot to help them cross the rivers everywhere.
Because the mother talks about Bangladesh a lot in the agenda. There are many pages on Bangladesh. Why was Bangladesh important to the mother?
Well, it's purely because she knew perhaps that the war is going to go on, and that unless India is firm And I remember planning for the war. We were sitting in the planning room. Somebody is briefing the commander-in-chief. Indira Gandhi was the prime minister. She was visiting us. So she was being briefed on the state of preparations. And somebody made a remark, Madam, a lot of things have to be done and blah, blah, blah. And the naval commander-in-chief was sitting on her right. I was standing behind the prime minister. On her left was the field marshal, Manekshaw. He was the chief then. And the right was the admiral. And said, Madam, softly, I'd like to bring to your notice that the American 7th Fleet has sailed in to Bay of Bengal. She completely ignored it. I heard it. She also must have heard it. After a brief interval, again, Madam, perhaps you didn't hear it the first time. I'd like to bring it to you. Admiral, I heard it the first time. Let's carry on. Ignored it completely. I was astounded. Look at this Prime Minister of India. 7th Fleet had come in enterprise. And she's ignored it completely. So it somehow built up this.
So could it be said that Indira Gandhi was under the influence of the mother?
Yes.
Yes.
Then?
Yes,
She had come
Now,
here.
could it be said?
She had
It
been,
is known. It is known that mother was already in touch with them.
and she had visited the ashram before coming to Bangladesh. And she came just before we started the war.
So because in that war, you could say that India was against not only the Chinese, but also the Pakistan, but also the Americans were on the same side.
Well, the Americans were trying to browbeat us, there's no doubt, but they didn't do anything. With all these 500,000 people refugees who had come, that's what we know. That more than 1 million people had come into India.
So Punjabis were massacring
The Bengalis, local
local Bengalis. Whether they were Muslims or Hindus made no difference.
It's East Pakistan army was mainly from the west.
From West Bengal.
They were the massacres, doing the massacres. And if massacres were among the Bengalis. And even the few Bengali troops there were disarmed beforehand.
very heavy casualties. You see,
From the
if
Indian
you
Army.
look at there were 5 fronts, and from Assam, all around.
Right.
Bangladesh is like that, Agartala and whatnot, different areas. We were getting ambulance loads of casualties. The young people fought extremely well. Young officers and Jawans and Subida, the JCOs, what we call the JCOs, was very heavy casualties among the young people. And we were getting loads of people coming, ambulance every day, and we were on 24-hour duty. No, we'd hand over to somebody, go have a meal and come back. That's all. And for those 15 days of the war, we were on 24-hour duty. There was no question. So I was there, my girls were there from Sanav, they were on holiday, but I used to leave them alone. I was in the hospital all the time, and I was really busy. And I had already been in the army so many years, and I was used to casualties and whatnot. We were really treating him.
No thanks. For you and Kamla.
No, I don't get it. When he's around, I don't get it.
Only one with a sweet blood.
And you were in touch with Krishna? You knew what was happening to him?
He was there. We'd come home for our meals when irregular. The house was running. Girls were there. They were very small. They were not big enough.
They were very small, the girls.
Uma was 52 born.
52 born.
And this was 71.
71, so she was
In school. They were all in school. And so they were there, and we decided early, after the war ended like that, and they said Shri Aurobindo was in Dhaka and whatnot, we said we must go to see this place.
Right.
And meet the mother if possible, to find out. We didn't know anything about this house. Didn't know anything
You
about
never
her.
read Shri Aurobindo?
Never.
You never read Shri Aurobindo?
Never read Shri Aurobindo, except what Satprem had written.
Okay.
That's all I had read. I never knew Shri Aurobindo. Heard of him as saint.
You had no gurus. Both of you didn't have any gurus.
No,
Or...
not like that. I had met a lot Shivananda Ashram, this and that. I got all my training there. I mean, in yogasanas and whatnot. Shivananda. Swami Shivananda was a doctor.
Rishikesh.
Rishikesh. He was a doctor. He was a friend of my father's.
Oh.
So I knew him. They were both doctors. So we had often been to the Shivananda.
Both of you.
Yes, yes. Very much.
So you had respect for him also.
But this was much later. When Deepti was arriving, it was the Shivananda Ashram sometime, all the time. In fact, he was very fond of us. He taught us all yoga. I mean, he sent a sadhu and we all learned. I was only 15 when I learned yoga from that. So I was in touch with a lot of saints. I've always been. Swami Ramdas I knew very well. So many other people. I'd been in contact. But I was never really influenced that way. When we managed to get 3 days leave, excluding the train journey, and we brought the girls with us. We came here, reached on 20th February. 21st, people said, Matri Mandir inauguration. We had never heard of Auroville.
21st February was the Matri Mandir inauguration.
Yes. 21st. And so, come along. So, we went with other people of the ashram. We were here at 4:30 in the morning. And it was beautiful, Sunil Das music. And we were a big crater, nothing but a big crater.
Yes, I remember.
Big crater. And this music was beautiful. And we were all given a pebble each that after the music, you go and put in the east pillar, which is Mahalakshmi stone. But while standing there listening to this music, a voice from within me said, "This is your place." Told me.
Full story.
This is your place. I just looked, and coming from where the health center is now, it was completely barren. Going up to Matri Mandir, from head to foot, we were covered in red dust.
In the Jonga?
Not in the Jonga. We were with people in the ashram. I don't know what vehicle they used. Jonga hadn't come yet. We came later when we came here finally. And then on 22nd, we met the mother. All of us, turn by turn. First,
you and Krishna together?
No, and the 3 children also.
No, it was a very special meeting arranged. I was the first army officer from the battlefront to come to meet the mother. So it was a very strange thing. And everybody here was very, very apprehensive.
Why?
About meeting the mother. And it's very strange the way the whole thing got arranged. I asked for leave to come here in January. Flatly refused because we hadn't withdrawn from Bangladesh yet. In early February, I asked for leave again. My boss, Commanding in Chief, and his Deputy General Jacob, who was the governor in Punjab, and he was there. So I asked for leave again. So he turned around to his deputy and said, "What's the problem with Krishna? This is the second time he's insisting on leave." I said, "Sir, there's nothing insistence. I want to go to Pondicherry." "What?" "Sir, meet the mother." And all of us, 3 of us there talking about this, we had all got the blessings in our pocket.
Jacob also.
Yes, all of us. All of us. All the top brass in the army. And so he turned on Jake. He's the first one who's asked for it. I think we should let him go. I was allowed only 3 days leave. Her leave was a problem. She was looking after wounded Pakistani prisoners of war.
At that time.
And I had to influence the commanding officer of the hospital through the big boss and so on. And
so you were in Calcutta also?
So
you flew from Calcutta?
Not by train. We came by train.
And we were here. It's very strange. We had no idea of the dates. 19th evening we reached Pondicherry. And it had been arranged to play Malik at that time.
19th, no, 20th.
19th evening we reached, I know that.
Chennai.
Anyway, we had a darshan at 31st. She's already described.
Tell me about the darshan of the mother, your impression of meeting the mother.
Yes, that's the main thing. On the 22nd, we were told that mother doesn't meet people. But because I was from the army and I had come all the way from Calcutta, we were given a special audience. And we went in, all five of us together, the three children and two of us. And we were told that one by one you sit with her in her room. She was sitting in the chair and just look into her eyes and give her the flower. So I sat first.
Who took you to the mother? Who took you?
Mother Pandit.
Mother Pandit.
Mother Pandit.
Mother Pandit. And outside the office we met Roger Ange and I was introduced to him and he turned around to me, General, when you meet the mother, ask, think of all the things you want. You don't have to speak. She'll know and they'll be granted. He said these words to me.
So when you entered the room, sir,
Before we went in.
right?
And he said, General, nice to meet you. And he said, mother, like that. And I sat there with her.
What was your first impression when you saw her, when you entered the room?
I was stunned. Frankly, I became really nothing. That's why I'm going to describe to you that when I didn't say a word. I just sat. I thought I sat for a long time. Then she sat. I got up. Then each of the children sat. We came out and I saw Roger outside and a few others. I felt very guilty. That the mother must have thought, what a stupid general had come to see her. So I gone completely blank. And I was so self-conscious. I told to Mother Pandit, I said, sir, I feel very bad. I don't know what happened to me. I'm so ridiculously stupid. I said, what happened? I said, I was completely blank. He said, good, good. And that's how it happened, our first meeting. And we were the only family who met her that morning. Nobody else was going at this. Only Roger was going in to meet her.
I tell you what happened. After he came, we were all very quiet. I came and sat at her feet. I looked into her eyes. If you ask me, Francois, what she looks like, I wouldn't be able to tell you. The picture is there, what she looked like. All I remember are two deep blue eyes. Nothing else. Looking at her. She carried you off somewhere. It was something so deep you can't describe. But I know that I came out and I was so much affected by her that afternoon and evening coming back all the way by bus to Chennai, I was crying and crying and crying. But and the little girl, Shubha, who's in the youngest America, she was very active. She had diarrhea. She was so excited and whatnot. All three of us were. There was Deepti, Abha, and Shubha. All three of them were deeply affected by something.
And it's strange that all five of us independently had made up our mind we want to be here. As soon as I got back to Calcutta, I asked for retirement.
Premature
I wanted
retirement.
to move here immediately. Commander-in-Chief Field Marshal Manik Shah is very good at Punjabi abuses. He was visiting Calcutta when he came to know I had asked for retirement. And I got a few nice Punjabi abuses from him. But that's the thing.
But he's a Parsi, isn't he a Parsi?
He's a Parsi, but he knows Punjabi. He grew up in Amritsar.
And I've decided. In the meantime, I had written to Mother Pandit that I've asked for retirement. 3 days or 4 days later, after my letter must have reached, he rings me up in Calcutta. The mother has forbidden you to leave the army. And she, praise Lord, she said it 4 times. He's not to leave the army. Are you noting it? I said, yes, yes. He is not to leave the army, he must not leave the army, he must continue in service. We shall decide when he is to leave the army. So I had to withdraw my application. I got cursed again by the Field Marshal.
Manik Shah.
But you had not reached the top of your promotion yet.
No,
You
I
can go as
was
high.
a brigadier and I later became a lieutenant.
The general.
He became a general and went to Udhampur, Northern Command.
After meeting the mother.
And
Afterwards, the next posting was Kashmir, Udhampur.
Main thing is that the mother went away herself in 73.
Right. So what happened? How did you learn about the mother's passing away? Where were you when you learned?
In Kashmir, I was constantly in touch. In fact, I came again and met the mother second time.
Oh, alone?
Yes.
I didn't come.
Tell
He
us
came.
about this meeting.
Yes, the second time, nothing has happened. We just passed by a row of people, no special thing. We were told that you're not going to sit down, but you just do your pranam and carry on.
What was the date? Which date was it?
That, I was down somewhere. I don't remember.
73. Was it in 73?
Yes.
Early 73.
She was not well then.
No, she was sitting in a chair, and we were told not to sit, but pass by the road.
And again, you had a strong
Large number of
experience.
people.
Again, you had a strong experience. Did you have a strong experience again?
Well, in the sense that I was happy that I've seen her again, because there's nothing special. The first time we were given a special interview by her. One by one we sat. Second time we just went in a row, line of people. We climbed up, we came down.
But whenever we had leave, we both came and we stayed in Golkund. We used to stay in Golkund. And the ashram always had a very deep, moving effect. We knew that once we retire, we have to come to the ashram. That
Both
we
of
too
you
were
had
shocked.
decided together that you would come.
He had decided. I had already, the Matri Mandir had told me that this is your place.
No, in 76, when my term was over, and there was a possibility I'll get the next rank. And
Could
I
have
said,
become
no,
SONC.
nothing doing. I
Chief
now
signal
go. Deepthi had already come here in 75. It's amazing. She
19
just
only.
rings me up in Kashmir, Udhampur. Daddy, I've decided to leave this German language course. I'm going to the ashram. I said, what do you mean, alone? Yes, Daddy, I'm going alone. And she came in early 75. And
She
we
came
came
1.5 years before us. And she stayed in Golkund.
Was it a blow for? Was it for you some?
No.
You were happy about it?
Well, I was surprised that the girl
19-year-old.
independently,
19-year-old.
she was only, at that time, what was
19.
her? 19. But she's very clear in I'm
Because
going.
I don't want to do college, etc. This is my place, I want to stay.
There our youngest daughter was already, they had all studied in the Sanavar, Lawrence School at Sanavar in North India. All the three girls. And she was booked up also. So when we were I decided to come here. And I said, now you will have to be going into the boarding. I'm not going into any boarding. I'm going to the ashram school. So I said, look, you may not get accommodation. At that time, I was told, very difficult to get the school accommodation. And so I wrote to Madhav Pandit again. He did the trick.
So
Vineet Joshi was the principal. He took her straight away.
So your youngest daughter was admitted to the ashram?
Yes.
She studied here. She did
Studied in
knowledge
the
here.
ashram school.
Shubha did her knowledge
Yes,
here.
I remember that too.
Imagine my third daughter, Abha. She stood first in the psychology in Delhi
Mathematics.
College. And
BA honors in mathematics and psychology. She got and a scholarship.
She got a scholarship.
Uh-huh.
And I said, for God's sake, now, up to now, I've spent the money on you. Now, no fears. I'm going to the ashram with you.
I'm going to Auroville. We were already here. She came and Deepthi and Arjun had moved to Aspiration.
Right, I remember that too.
Arjun also came and he was 19. Both of them were 19. He said, no, I'm staying here. I'm not going. So,
What did you feel when the mother passed away? When you heard about the mother's passing away, what was your feeling?
Feeling of complete chaos in the mind, confusion. What is this? But yet, one didn't feel that upset that she is no more. One of my biggest regrets in my life is when I was commissioned in 1942, I was posted to South India in Salem, right close by. We did training here for about five months before we were sent off to Burma. My biggest regret is I never came and met Sri Aurobindo. I could have easily done that.
Yes.
And so the same way, and I say, when the mother passed away, well, we won't see her again, but very alive in our hearts. There's
No,
no
you see,
doubt,
from that,
even
Kamsa,
now.
once we went to Kashmir also, after meeting the mother, he and I started reading Savitri. And every morning, without fail, it was cold over there. Udhampur gets very cold in winter. We'd be in our quilts, but we'd be reading Savitri. Every morning before we went for work, we'd read. And we must have read Savitri 3 or 4 times.
The full book, huh?
No, full book 3 or 4 times before we came here.
So the presence of the mother stayed with you. You
Always.
always felt the mother's presence.
Absolutely.
I never missed.
Always in the pocket, the blessing packet, always in the pocket.
Then you decided to come to Auroville. Well, when did you decide to really come and settle in Auroville?
Well, we had decided when we first met the mother,
Right.
after the foundation of Auroville, the first we heard of the word Auroville. Never heard of it before. And having been here somehow, one felt connected, although this is completely barren. So we had decided to come to Auroville and not to join the ashram, but then there was no accommodation here. So we had to get the place.
This house was built by.
We rented a place.
We were the 4th house. Yeah.
The fourth house. Yeah.
JK Guest House, where you're staying was JK Guest House. The Alam Barnard is staying at JK Guest House.
What does JK stand for?
I don't know. Someone who had started a JK Guest House, they called it.
Okay.
And Aster's house was where
Bernard Bow was.
Bernard Bow
Yes.
and Claude Bow were living.
Yes.
And we were the 4th house. We had to build the road. Ashram people helped us. We built the road. And we built this house. This house was ready in 1980. And it's a strange thing. I don't know if it is relevant. While I was in Calcutta, I was so busy, I had started doing my diploma in gynecology.
Right.
I didn't plan it, but it just happened. So I was attending classes. And it seems as if mother must have planned it. Because these people here needed a gynecologist. They needed somebody who knew about deliveries and whatnot. And the strangest thing after coming here, when this house was ready in 1980, the story I'm just telling you, I don't know, it's amazing that, and I had trained 2 women, local women, Sundari and one more, as midwives. 3-month training in the general hospital, maternity hospital now it's called. And they were on alternate night duty. And when the villager had his baby coming, he'd come here on his cycle. He says, please come. And they always come at night, babies. Please come and deliver my child. So I didn't want to disturb him. And the Junga will make such, how will I will take you on my cycle. And after the baby is born, I'll bring you back.
Wonderful story.
And I had full trust in him and he had full trust in me. So this is what I must have done many deliveries.
These are the stories for which she got the award in Delhi now.
Yes, she got a...
Some of the
I
stories
have
that
done,
got there.
we calculated also, including a few Auroville deliveries, we have the birth certificates. 1,000 deliveries in
Wonderful,
Auroville.
wonderful.
Before, I'm 82 now, I said nothing, no more. And
So I'll ask you a last question before the mosquitoes devour you.
I want to ask you a question. How is it you are not being bitten? Only I. No, it's amazing. My blood must be something special.
Very
for them.
sweet. Today, now, of course, you came first in 72, and then you settled here in 1980. Now we are in 2009. Do you still feel the mother's presence as strongly as you felt it the first time in Auroville?
Yesterday evening, we went for a haircut, Arjun and I, and after that we went to the Samadhi. And it's amazing how strongly one felt that she's here. And now you go to the ashram, you see flood of people. You just can't get in. And it just shows the force is there in full strength. There's no doubt in my mind. And one doesn't have to hunt for it. It is there for those who seek it. And no, I have no doubt. Yesterday I was interviewed by Ellen in the archives. He's asking similar questions. I believe that we are going through a kind of a crisis in Auroville. And I was describing to him, I said, the Auroville progress is like this, ascendant, since I've been involved. But it's always like this. And when we are down and out, we become conscious, this is not what we come for. Then we become cautious and ride the curve. Oh, everything's fine, yes. And then she takes us down again. In this living laboratory, she's playing with us. So we are the guinea pigs on which she's doing experiments.
That is true.
And you, Kamla, you feel
No,
the
I
same
feel,
thing?
you see, when we first came here, I started work immediately. 1977, January, I started work in the health center.
I see.
And only Dr. Sen was coming with 2 interns, and it was not running. And Justice Nigam and Mr. Oja were here,
Right.
and they wanted me to take over the health center fully. So I said, I don't want to do that. This Dr. Sen has had a heart attack, he'll die. You say I'll work under him. Then I will start. And I started then. And while I was working in the health center, there was not a single tree here. He started Amba Garden.
Yes.
Very
Jardin de
interesting.
Mer now.
Yeah.
Now Jardin de Mer. And all the 1,000 trees have been planted by him in this area. You can imagine.
This is my hand-planted
all
tree.
1,000 trees.
Look at this beautiful
In
tree.
this, all over Auroville, 1,000. And each one, you know how they had to be protected
course.
from the goats and cows and
course.
whatnot. And I mean, we were both very busy after coming here. I'm just remarking. And we were happy, busy and happy, both of us. I mean, not only was I working, I worked at Isayambalam. I used to go around in the Jonga. I sat in Matri Mandir also. There was nothing, you know. They found a doctor which they needed here, the villagers and the Aurovilians. It was Shama and Jocelyn, Krishna and Jocelyn were here. The thin Jocelyn.
Yes.
They got after me. We want homeopathy. And I had learnt homeopathy. His father was a doctor and my father was a doctor. Both were doctors. But his father had experience with homeopathy. When Uma was born, and he gave me a book and some medicine. Then in the army you get posted to Nilgiris and this and that, and we were posted to Wellington, Circle
Yes.
Quarters, which is 500 kilometers from the hospital, the Circle Quarter, and 50 families. And I had a 4-5 month old baby. So they all started coming to me, and I don't keep allopathy at home. I started giving homeopathy. From the time Uma was born, I've been doing homeopathy. So I had that
My
experience.
father believed also in homeopathy.
That's how I
Yeah.
learned. And so now
She is a famous army family. You know that, isn't it?
No, we don't.
Her father was the first Indian director of medical services of Free India, 1947.
He joined 1917, World War I,
Wow.
and he fought.
Her eldest brother was the first Paramveer Chakra of India.
Yes.
The reason why I
Yes.
married her, because he and I were commissioned almost the same time. Throughout the war, we were together 5 years, 42 to 47, independence. He flew to Kashmir to save Kashmir, and he saved Kashmir. In the process, he was killed, for which he got the highest decoration.
Victoria.
That day, when he flew to Kashmir, he was with me, made me promise I'll marry her. So I have to keep my promise. And it's amazing, her second brother, retired as a top engineer-in-chief for the Indian Army.
Lieutenant General.
And the third brother, as the army chief.
He retired as
Yes, actually, Mr. Sharma, I remember. Mr. Sharma. I
V.N.
remember.
Sharma.
I remember.
The best part is they married General Tewari.
All generals in the family. In my family, all generals.
No, one of the amusing parts is when we were together in Kashmir, in Delhi, before he flew to Kashmir, we used to go and meet her in the medical college. And there's a Gurkha Chowkidar in charge of the girls' warden. He would see us both coming and run up and call Bhanji, calling sister Bhanji. And she would come down and meet her. Then he passed away. And then I would go. Again he would run up and call. And then when we got married,
After I became a
1950,
doctor, I said I won't get married.
after she graduated, so I said, we must go and give a box of laddus like you ate to him. So typical Bengal, Nepali, Gurkha, in Hindi, he asked me, what is this for? I said, we got married. Oh, brother and sister got married.
He took your brother and sister.
When Som had gone, he regarded me and both of us as brothers because we resembled each other also. He was a little more handsome than me, but anyway. He and this is life, I tell you, the way.
But this I can tell you,
I think
the
you're
mother
the
is
delay.
here. She can't go anywhere. She's very much in hospital.
Yes.
I feel it. And and Matri Mandir now is ready. It's a beautiful, shall I say, when I sit in meditation every day, I think of Matri Mandir. Because whenever I feel like going there and sitting. But now it is so well in my, inside me, that when I'm sitting in meditation here, Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravindaye, of course, and